forever. We only have a short period of time to be a child, and that should not be exploited, especially when I have children. My husband and I have 5 kids. We have 3 girls and 2 sons. So we want them to be children for as long as they can be kids. We don't want the government putting on them adult responsibilities when they have enough to face in the world.
Also, you know what I want to say?
Real quick, how old is your oldest?
I want to say one thing. Thank you for saying that, because you really know what you're talking about. And I want to add on to what you're saying about how they just passed the law, and the Democrats is really weird now. It's getting weird because you know what they did. But you know what they just did. No, but this is why I sway to the other side too. Because listen to this. They tried to pass a law where they're making it a crime for you to protest against them talking to your kid, and then they're gonna take your kid.
That's true.
No, hold up, they take your kid.
You can't whoop your children.
Right.
You can't discipline your kids.
But this going on. That just didn't start.
This law, they're talking about the gender thing. So now they was doing gender
inequality.
No, but the giving them the drugs, the inhibitors.
Oh yeah.
They was giving them the puberty inhibitors.
Yes,
the puberty blockers.
Right.
And now the parents didn't know.
Right.
So at first the Republicans came out with a bill that said, listen, it's the parents' rights for you to know. You can't do stuff to my kid and giving them puberty blockers that can.
You don't think that was going on 6 years ago?
No, it actually wasn't.
It
Trump
actually was.
Against he stopped that.
He might have been against it, but it was still going on.
But here's the thing.
A lot of
I'm not going to argue that. I'm talking about
now.
I'm talking about today. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that. I'm going to talk about the here and now. What's just happening. That these people are hard bent on getting to these kids for some reason.
Right.
They won't stop.
Right.
It's like, yo, there's other stuff to talk about. The stuff with the men having men participating in female sports, another crazy idea.
All that is wrong.
But here's the thing.
Anything with messing with the kids and
here's
genders is wrong.
The problem is this. They will take me and ostracize me, right, and cancel me because I'm saying, hold up, I got a voice. This is freedom of speech.
Right.
And hold up, that's not right. I don't care what you say or what you try to do, it's not right. And people like me is standing up.
And who's going to come against you? Congress, Congress or the LGBT?
Well, here's the thing. Even people from the LGBTQ community has stood up against the government. Because they are a lot of the LGBTQ community, and I tip my hat off to them because they are standing up to protect children because they know it's wrong, and a lot of them are saying, "Don't blame us. We don't have anything to do with this."
Oh no, it's a lot of. I've seen a lot of them stand up against it too.
We at a point though have to get past Democrat.
Kirk Cameron had,
but no, we at a point we have to get past Democrat and Republican and look at what is godly, what is right, and what is wrong.
Right.
Because it's wrong regardless of which side of the aisle you support. It is wrong because if you give anything to your children that is not prescribed by a doctor, they want to lock you up for practicing medicine without a license. They want to charge you all these things. Like this guy just went to jail.
They've been doing
just for piercing his son's ears.
They've been doing that.
But they've been doing it, but it haven't been highlighted to this effect.
They going
it's been highlighted.
They doing it.
Dr. Sabi's a prime example.
But it's becoming so apparent that it is making the parents feel like they have absolutely no control over our children.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna just say this real quick.
I'm
gonna just say this real quick. And I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
We don't never want to put our children and our youth into a situation where they feel like it's okay to be something they're not just because they feel different.
Exactly.
You don't know who you are yet. You're still young. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to. I like the fact that they just passed a bill in a couple states where they say a child has to be a certain age before they can have a sex change. It's not about the child no more. We understand that you're too young to understand who you are, and you have to be this age before we allow you to have that operation, even if your parents allow it. And there's a lot of parents that allow that on both sides. But to talk about education too.
Enough for it to matter, because I don't think that the parents ain't with that.
Well, a lot of parents are. You'd be surprised. D Wade and Gabrielle Union with it.
A lot of celebrities are with it. A lot of parents, I believe, have their own personal agenda of looking for attention. I don't think they're in it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in it for their kids.
They're in it for an agenda.
You got, like, long time ago, you had Munchausen syndrome where people would give their kids medication and stuff like that to make them sick.
Oh, yeah.
All because they wanted the attention from a doctor, nurses,
and
stuff.
the media.
That's crazy.
Involved and stuff.
Yes.
And you got to also remember.
There's a lot of kids that got trips to Disney World, got to meet the president, and they weren't even sick for real. Their parents made them sick. So here we are with the LGBTQ community. You got parents that are forcing their children into this so that they can get some attention. And a lot of those kids grow up and say, I didn't want to do this anyway. It was never my idea. This was my parents' idea, and they're no longer speaking to the parents anymore.
And if we be frank, let me tell you something. It's only these transvestite men, right?
And women.
I'm saying the transvestite men in particular that's going into these schools dancing around. It is never the
I was
women.
Gonna touch on that too.
Reason why they're pedophiles. The men are pedophiles.
And women.
So like in New York, it's a whole Democratic state. This is a Republican state. In New York,
I'm just saying this is his opinion, not the opinion of Black Ink Radio.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. That in New York, they got the story time with transvestite men dancing around.
And that's what I was about to say to her, because when she was talking about what she was saying, like the LGBT want to stand up against this and that. But I just seen Kirk Cameron, who used to be on Full House. You know, he's a devoted Christian right now. He has a book out. He was trying to do a book reading for the youth kids at a library. And the library and the people in the community went and tried to boycott him from talking about God in his book. But they just had a book reading with drag queens reading to the students. Well,
let me tell you,
nobody had a problem with that.
See, let me be clear. When you're talking about LGBTQ community, you're talking about adult people that have had the opportunity to make whatever life-altering decisions that they wanted to make. They're adults. They have the right to choose or not choose. They have a right to live their life accordingly, and that's their business. I don't get in other people's affairs. If that's what you do, if that's what float your boat, sail on. When you're talking about kids, because I am a mother, there's a whole different aspect of that. When a person decides to dance in front of a child, me being a grown woman, I know I would not do that.
Right.
As a
allow
woman,
it. Allow it.
Or allow anybody, any man, woman, or anything in between to dance in front of my minor children. Right. I would not allow that. Now, if I'm ordering Barney or a clown or something, that's different, because those are kid-friendly things. That's for a child to make memories of. But as an adult, you have that responsibility, as opposed to if you want that on your conscience
for the
rest of your life.
I wouldn't even want a straight. If I had a young son, I have a daughter, I have a son. But if I had a young son, 7, 8 years old, I still wouldn't want a straight woman with a body dancing in front of my.
That's all I'm saying, because they are children.
It has nothing to do
that's
with
just like me giving my 11-year-old daughter, calling a guy to come out for her 12th birthday and do a Magic Mike striptease for her. She's a child.
Right.
Yeah.
She's a child.
We all know that's wrong.
And a man should say, you know what? There is no way I am going to, regardless of how much you're willing to pay me, I am not going to do that on my own principles. Right. So those are principles that have to withstand for regardless of what life they live, regardless of
but
who
also,
they are.
When that stuff go down, it's not always blamed on a party. That sometimes these are blamed on individuals and organizations.
That's what I'm saying.
And a lot of parties, political parties, get the blame for it.
I think
Democrats is riding with this one.
I think what we get away from
a lot of Republicans riding with it too.
No, but I'm just saying,
you got a Republican just got caught down in Brazil dressed like a woman. So it ain't just them.
I think what we getting away from is because all of us are saying the same thing. It shouldn't happen, but it's not. It's happening mostly by these people, and it's because
they push
people are allowing it because people are afraid of them.
It still leads to
you know what I'm saying? They are very powerful at this point.
If it's Democrat or Republican, the parent.
The parent shouldn't let
say I don't want this.
Right.
If that parent decide that that's something they want to co-sign for, I blame that parent more than I blame
there's a lot of parents that co-sign for it
nowadays. I don't
nowadays.
think it's enough. Like I seen a statistic that was like, transvestites make up half of 1% of the whole population. So the media and I'm saying the Democratic Party is pushing this like this is a dire situation that we all should just bow down to their whims and call them he, she, it, whatever the thing is. And it's like enough already. People are tired of it. And it's not really so much, I'm not on anybody's side. What I'm seeing is what I'm saying. It is the Democratic Party right now that is pushing this full force. We know that when Donald was in there, he said, no, stop. Take that shit off take it off the books with the kids shit.
But Donald was messing with kids.
No,
this is the whole.
Donald was messing with kids. So maybe just that ain't what it is.
Bro, that's not.
Donald Trump said if his daughter wasn't his daughter, he would mess with her. So he's at Epstein's Island. So Donald Trump is a fucking liar. All he does is say what he wants the people to hear.
When it comes to the Democrat aspect of things, this is what I honestly feel. I feel like that is a huge distraction.
It is.
From what Democrats need to be focused on. So when you go back to the black votes, the black vote in the United States of America have carried every agenda that have ever been presented on this land. Started with when black people wanted the right to be treated as a human being. Who benefited from that? Women's Lib benefited from that. A lot of other things benefit, everything, abortion, Roe versus Wade, everything made it off the back of our people. Right. So
for
now when we get from, you know what, it was before my time.
Right. So we have
every time we start talking about reparations, ways that we can better our community, here's another agenda to layer on top of that. So when it gets to Biden made a promise. Right. He made a promise to black people. Now, I cross party lines to vote for Biden to give him a chance.
And he messed up in a lot of stuff.
Basically said to black women and black people, I owe you.
Right.
I owe you. And the first thing happened when Ice Cube asked him for a meeting, they blew him off. But when Asian hate came out, money went to the Asian community.
Right.
Nothing
Don't
against the Asian
mess
community.
with them. It's a hate crime.
But still, okay, but we've been fighting this hate crime forever, but there wasn't enough money for us. So
I know what
happens
about.
after that? Why? Money went to the Ukraine. It's like every time it gets to us, there is always an agenda. And I honestly think this LGBTQ stuff is another mask that is placed over what we're asking for. We're asking for reparations.
They don't want us to be at the forefront.
What is it? DOS.
They don't want us at the forefront.
Slaves. That's all we're asking for.
They're not going to give it to us.
And every time we're asking the Democrats for something, we're at the polls. My grandmother got out there and she voted. No, but here's the thing. We never even gave the Republicans a chance to give it to us.
Oh, sure we did. Nah. Even with the Bushes, even with the Reagans.
Not to this.
We've been talking about this for years.
Nobody's
going to give it to us.
Because see,
nobody's going to give it to us.
Have never pandered
but you know why?
To the black vote because they've always felt that the black vote was going to go to the Democrats.
And it always did.
And it always did.
That's the decoy.
But now we're seeing that.
No, that's the decoy.
So
at the
now
end of
the
day,
Democrats are pushing away
that's the decoy.
Because see, we're not our grandmothers and grandfathers.
They're never, no matter who's in office,
we're to the
they're
point
not
going
to give us what we've been looking for 400 years. 400 years.
Democrat and Republican proof to where we're leaning on God more. We have to understand who our provider is.
Right.
But it has unfortunately come to a point to where the Democrats has pushed a lot of black people away from the Democratic Party by way of giving us breadcrumbs and giving the loaf of bread to everybody else.
You forgot about the crack pipes.
So look,
remember the crack pipes?
I've never seen any president or party give me anything.
The whole nine.
You remember crack pipes?
Now
Biden gave out crack pipes to us. What does Biden did?
I just want to get y'all.
Nobody never did that.
Hold on.
I'm not making it up,
bro.
Nah, somebody else did that. Somebody gave out needles a long time ago.
No, but Biden gave us crack pipes when what she said when we said, hey, listen, what about the promises? He said, okay, here's a program for crack pipes, and I'm not making that up.
Hold on.
Nah, you're right. It's true, but listen. Now, this is something I was telling y'all this earlier. Y'all want to listen to me. Now, I don't fuck with Biden like that, and that's a true story. But I will give him this. So, right here is a fact. He gave $5.8 billion to the HBCUs in 2021. It was $5 billion.
Yep. How much Trump give?
He bailed us out. Hold on. He bailed them out on 1.6 billion in debt.
Right.
Then he gave 3.7 billion in relief.
Yep.
And then he gave 500 million in grant funding.
He also put the hold on now. Hold on. He also reestablished the Disaster Relief Act that your boy took away. That's why them people that was over there
the Disaster Relief Act.
Yes, the Disaster Relief Act. That's why
it's WH.gov, White House.
Them people that didn't get no money and all that stuff that your boy put in place.
Wow.
Trump took it away. That's why you didn't have no money for the people that got hit with them earthquakes out there. But I'm just saying now. Hold on now. We're not saying that though. We're just saying. I'm just saying. Hold on. I understand. I'm just saying. There's good and bad in each politics. We can pick and choose. The ultimate is what you're saying. We don't want our kids, and I agree with you. We don't want our kids falling into the system of where we want to change them and be something that they're not.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's not just a party. This is a program by the elites that's been going on for years.
Right.
They've been injecting kids with different DNA, what they call
allegedly.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly.
I don't know where we don't. I wasn't there.
Allegedly.
Let's say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
You know, well, they want to change your gender when the child is born. They say we're gonna give them a chickenpox vaccine or measles vaccine.
I heard that they give something.
And next thing you know, their gender change. They want to wear dresses.
Yesterday, that every kid that's born.
You get a shot.
It's not even a shot. They put it. It's like a little something that they put in their mouth.
It could be a swab.
Yeah, and it causes autism. Because this what happens.
That's crazy.
Right? Because a lot of fathers and mothers, and that's another thing. The CDC put out a report and said that black fathers are the most. Give it up for black fathers. Word is bond.
And black mothers. And black mothers.
No. I'm talking about black fathers. Yeah, black mothers too, but I'm gonna say black fathers because it is. There was a myth that was put out that the black fathers is never there, that we absentee, that we hold up, and it's been going around for years. So what happened was listen. But what happened was
we know why that is.
Right, because of the government. But what happened was, but listen. Let me finish. Let me finish for a minute.
Take us out the house.
So the CDC
and in the House of Four
did a study, right, and they said out of all the fathers, they accumulated the information, the data. They said white fathers is really the deadbeats. It's not us. So we was getting the rap, black men is just deadbeats. They ain't deadbeat, this, that, and other. Really, it's not. And I know that was a fact because everybody that I know, every black man that I know is a father in their kid's life. All of my friends got kids. They there.
But
so I'm like,
at the end of the day,
how we getting this rap for being deadbeats all the time?
But
give it up for the black fathers.
And speaking to adding to that, let me just tell you, and we'll get to my book. When you guys are ready to ask questions. My husband, when I met my husband, I was in 8th grade. I had just dropped out of school in 8th grade. My husband worked at SunTrust Bank. When he took me in, he married me. We have 5 kids. And he could have took the high road and he could have left, but he stayed. Mm-hmm. Made sure I completed school, made sure I went to college, made sure that our kids was educated. He worked 2 or 3 jobs to do that. And every time I hear about a black man abandoning his family, the black dad don't stay home, it used to break me down because I knew it was a lie. Because I befriended a lot of people. A lot of my friends married young, and they're still with their husbands to this day. So you're right about that. That is a myth. You know, I don't know anything about the white fathers, but I do know as far as, and there was like even with my
father
dad,
was in my life.
My dad.
Yeah, my dad
my
was in
son's
my
life.
life.
I've been in my son's life.
My dad met my mom when I was 2 years old. He didn't have to take me on and raise me as his only daughter, but he did that. Yeah. And to this day, even though they're not together anymore, they broke up when I was about, 15, 16 years old, but my dad still is in my life.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, but, you know, we're gonna say this and move on real quick. At the end of the day, we have to understand the media is designed to, and not to say that the direction that they're trying to, you know, point us into isn't important, but the media is designed to take our attention and focus on something else, and all this other stuff that's more important is not being covered. Not to say that what they're talking about is not important, but there's something bigger that they're trying to keep our attention away from. We're on the brink of World War III right now.
Whole facts.
And we talk about Don Lemon. We talk about, you know, the shootings that's going on. We're talking about, you know, legislation. We're talking about taxes. We're talking about student loans. And right now, Russia, China,
they're making moves.
North Korea, they're all trying to team up to come and take over the U.S. So,
interesting fact, you know what? Those two countries alone, they said militarily can have, I forgot it might have been
the Bible talks about a 200 million,
a 200 million man army with all of them countries coming together.
It's in Revelation. It's in Revelation.
You know what?
Euphrates River that's drawn up. We're not talking about the Euphrates River that's drawn up.
Babylon, America.
We're not talking about how, you know, South America is defrosting and all these ancient artifacts is coming up. They've been there and under ice for a reason. So, you know, understand what we got to deal with that affects us, but also don't be blind to the fact that media is not going to tell us everything. They're not going to highlight
that's
everything.
a fact.
And some stuff they want to show us to keep us away from what's more important. So people need to realize what time we in, you know, stack up on gasoline. Make sure you got gasoline. Make sure you got water. Make sure you got seeds. Make sure you got a generator.
We gotta learn to do what our grandparents did, which is can up them fruits with the, you know, put it in jars and stuff.
Man, stock up.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna get.
There's it's
gonna be a cold winter, like Mr. Biden said.
There's a lot of earthquakes going on right now. I've been seeing more earthquakes in the last 4 or 5 months I've ever seen since I've been alive. These ain't no regular ones. Everything is over 7.
Well, you know they can control them now, I heard, right?
Everything's over 7.
They've been controlling that.
Yeah, for a while,
yeah.
Hey, you want to get
into, let's go ahead and introduce our special guest
One
tonight. One more time. We got the
lovely. That was an ill conversation. We got
in the building.
Miss PHOXX, Diary.
I want everybody to go get this book right here. This is Diary of a Trophy Wife.
Yes.
Written by PHOXX. Yes. How you doing, PHOXX? We appreciate your input.
For real, we needed that.
It was so juicy.
Yeah. Me and I always do that. So
we do this, and we always say, "Yo, we need a female to come in and like kind of
we always
have a female voice."
Come in and give their take on it.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for the input too. That was dope.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I am PHOXX, and I want to first thank God Almighty for giving me and blessing us with the opportunity to meet here tonight. And I want to send a warm shout out to my husband, New Style.
Peace.
Roland and
and
Roland Dixon.
Yes, Roland Dixon and Mikhail.
Yep,
you know, and I'm just humbly grateful to be here. But I started out as Cream the Ice Princess as a rap recording artist. And I don't know if you ever heard the song, Do Your Dance on That. Do Your Dance on
I did. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So you got bars, huh?
Well, yeah, I rap. But my husband put Do Your Dance out along with his business partner, JT. They put out Do Your Dance with Ben Hill Squad and Guillotine years ago. And then my husband pushed my career. Nice. So it took a minute, but, you know, God's timing is God's timing.
Yes.
And when God guides, he guides. So when the doors came open for me, I got out here, started doing a lot of underground shows. I ended up I was blessed to do some jingles for an attorney here in Atlanta and in Florida that played for so long. It actually played longer than most people's records are played. So I actually gained popularity from that.
That's dope.
So
you did the 411 pain jingle?
No, I did 1-800-INJURED.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with the law firm. Yeah, back in 2017.
Nice.
So it aired on numerous stations, and then I picked up a 1-800-INJURED from Florida.
Okay, good.
So after that, I started writing jingles. I wrote one for Nabisco, wrote one for Hewlett Packard, because that's where the money was.
Yeah,
how did you get into that? I'm interested.
Where the money's still at.
Because I started by me being a rap artist.
Okay.
I was able to take, whatever they was trying to promote, whatever people are pushing, and write a jingle like with the Bethune Law Firm when in an accident.
Oh,
1-800.
That
sounds so crazy.
Cream, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Bethune
yeah.
always
Yeah.
But he has somebody else on there now.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So after I got done with him, other opportunities came. So
that's dope.
when it comes to writing jingles, you want to focus on what the customer wants.
Right.
Instead of trying to show off your talents or me trying to show off my talent, I was more so interested in making sure that people knew to contact him or whoever I write the jingle for and to stick to what they want more so than me trying to show off and impress people with me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
The reason why I asked too, because we're all artists, right? And I know a lot of artists. And you actually putting us up on game because, like, I heard of. I'm friends with Craig Mack, the late great Craig Mack, rest in peace. But he was doing that after his career. A lot of people didn't know Craig was doing jingles and doing. He got big with that. Well, in that space, like he was doing okay. He was doing good with it. But rest in peace. That's the only rap I heard.
I met that nigga in
And
jail,
I still,
bro.
I have mine.
T.I. did
I met him
jingles.
in jail in
My,
Manhattan.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, he was locked up for suspended license. Me too.
Wow.
Oh,
That was
okay.
funny.
And one of my jingles for the book is actually airing on Streets 94.5.
Nice.
Okay, dope.
Yes. So when they hear The Diary of a Trophy Wife, it's your girl PHOXX, known as Cream the Ice Princess. Follow me at KRE.
Yeah, I hear the
511.
voice.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I hear the voice.
So is that you on the front cover?
That is me.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell the fans a little bit about the book.
Yeah, what's a
So-
trophy wife?
Yeah.
So basically, when I wrote, I had the opportunity to write about anything when I started to write, but I wanted people to know more about me, my personal life, because when people, especially in the Black community, a lot of us look at one another and we have our assumptions about people, but we don't know what a person have gone through.
Right.
So if a trophy could talk and tell you how it was made, you can look at a trophy, you can admire its beauty, you can say how gorgeous it looks, but if that trophy can tell you the hell that it went through in order to become a trophy, you will have a newfound respect for a trophy. So it took more than what people believe in order to become me. And it started with my childhood. It started with my childhood coming from an abusive, well, I won't say abusive, but it was a tumultuous background. My husband came from an abusive background, and together we came in each other's lives with this learned behavior and unresolved childhood traumas and childhood issues that we didn't resolve, didn't get counseling, nobody resolved it. So we came into the marriage and we brought that learned behavior into the marriage.
Y'all healed each other.
So the way we healed each other, and that's why the book is heavily erotic, because one day I was taking care of our sons and my husband was looking at me like, crazy, like, what are you doing? Because my son had injured himself. And I took my time to take care of our sons. And I'm not one of those parents that would say, shake it off. You a man, toughen up, don't be weak. I don't believe in that. I believe in nurturing our children, and I believe in nurturing our sons. So when my husband was looking at me, and it dawned on me, my husband lost his mother when he was very young. She was sick most of his life, and then ultimately she passed away, and he had to pay for her funeral and everything. He was only 19 years old and fresh out of high school. So I realized my husband didn't get that nurturing. So I had to do, how when a baby is born, and the parents take off their shirts so they can do skin-to-skin contact. Yeah. So I had to do that with my husband. Yeah. I had to do skin-to-skin bonding with him. It was hard. It wasn't easy, but I had to, not a night of intimacy, but I had to let him know that it's okay to cry. Mm-hmm. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to talk. It's okay to be in pain. It's okay. I'm here. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. I don't look at you any different just because you got a problem.
Right.
I'm your wife. Confide in me. Right. Let me know what's on your mind because it's troubling you. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn to get off the phone. I can't talk to my girlfriends when it's time for him to get off of work. I had to cater to my husband. Yeah. That's what God said to do. Yeah. So
he who finds a wife.
You know what I mean? So now they have this thing what they're hollering, they're saying, the pick-me's, that terminology developed in the 2000s. I've been married since 1995.
Oh, no. You got to teach
So I got married so young, I had to get permission from my mother, my grandmother, and my father to marry my husband. And my husband told my mother and my grandmother, he said, when I take her, she won't be coming back. Gotcha. And he meant that. And God willing, in May, we'll be 31 years together. Wow. And 26 years married in July.
That's crazy.
A lot of people don't make it past 5, 6 years.
Old enough to be
one of the main things I can say, God is the head of our household.
And that's how it
God
works.
is the head of our marriage. And I'm not saying that we don't have problems. We do. We have problems like anybody else. Yeah, it's how you resolve the problem. Yeah. I do know this. I don't want to be without him, and he don't want to be without me. So with that being said, we had to, us, the way we raised our children. We have 5 children. 4 of them are adults, and we have an 11-year-old daughter. But all of our kids are virgins. All of them, even the adults, they're virgins because they chose. They said that when they get into a relationship, they want to make sure that they are ready because they saw what we went through. And I'm going to tell you another thing, too. So when my husband and I got together, my grandmother said to him, she said, why don't you let her get on Section 8 and get a check? That way, y'all can save money, and you don't have to pay rent or whatever. You can pocket your money.
Work the system.
My husband told her, told my grandmother, he said, ma'am, with all due respect, I'm not gonna live anywhere where my name isn't on the lease.
Wow.
And with that being said, that was so powerful because my mother was on a system, unfortunately, and it wasn't by her choice. But she was on a system, but I saw how she had to dodge the fact that my father was there, that she had to hide him. And I seen how women was able to disrespect men, kick him out the house.
Because he ain't on that lease.
Because you ain't on the lease. Yeah. So how can he be a man if you're the head of the house? He can't be the man he need to be. Yeah. So my husband took that option away from me so that I can learn to respect a man. And I'm the first woman in my family to know how to do that because I had to learn that because I came from a lot of female dominant women that dominated their household. But when it came to my husband, he wasn't going to allow me to have that kind of leverage over him. So
rightfully so.
He was the one who worked. And then he said, you take care of the home front. I go out here and work.
Yes. Women, y'all hear that? A submissive
I hope y'all
woman,
listening, man.
Right.
She put y'all up
a
on
woman
game.
that let the man lead.
Right. That's not, that ain't common.
It's kind of hard to find nowadays. There's so many women that want to be independent.
Right.
I don't need a man. If I got a man, that's a plus. But I don't need a man. But
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm sure for a woman to feel that way, I'm sure there's a reason for her to feel that way.
So check it out. That's what I was about to say. Go ahead.
When it comes to a woman being submissive to a man, let me say this: you get all that you give.
Right.
If you give a woman what she needs, and you give her that security, I promise you, she'll give you what you want, because who wants to be out here looking?
Not all women now. You can get more.
Well, listen,
I can't speak for all women. I'm only speaking to the ones that are saying that they don't need a man. You never know what their experience with a man was. It could have been they've seen their mother being abused. It could have been they've seen something happen for them to feel the way that they feel.
I just feel like they haven't had the right men step up, in my opinion.
Well, not only
because
that.
I feel like, look, think about it, bro. We all one decision away from being like the women, how they men were. We all one decision away from that. He could have thought he was being respectful and said, all right, we could do that because they asked, and then that would have been it. Now she would have still been taking advice from people that feel like this is the way things go, and he would have one step, okay, I'll let you do that. Next step, I'll let you do that. Now it's breaking you down slowly. So these women who say they don't need a man, I'm telling you, when they've all probably said that. We don't know where they at right now. When they meet that man, that one man, he gonna make her submit. And it's not because he's going to force her. It's because she's going to then feel secure, protected, and she's going to feel like, you know what? I could let this nigga lead. I trust him.
Right, because see, my husband wasn't my first relationship. You know, the first relationship that I got in, I was young, and this guy was extremely abusive. There is no way I would have given to him what I give to my husband. Because here's the thing. When we're raising young men, and like I said, that you a man, shake it off. Don't be a sissy. Don't be a punk. You know, you get, knee gets scraped up, you'll be all right. Shake it off. So they're proving their manhood by beating the crap out of a woman, because that's the easiest thing to do, or mistreating a woman, because that's the easiest thing to do, because that's the only way that he can solidify as being a man. And what I call them is the microwave men. They haven't been taken, the time hadn't been taken to raise them to become a man, and to give them all that they need, and to give them all the tools that is required to be a man. And becoming a man is a very hard thing to do, and I don't want that task. I'm a female. I'm okay.
That should be a man.
I'm okay. I'm okay with being a female, but
that's the problem now. These females is not okay with being female. They are, especially. I'm gonna just speak for like me coming here from.
These are straight women. Go ahead.
Yeah, Atlanta is different.
Yeah.
But there was a reason. Me coming from Atlanta, and I'm gonna tell you, I can remember having my first baby. And I remember girls used to look up to me and other girls that had babies young. And we was like celebrities. You know, you got a baby, you got a baby. And everybody looked at the baby like it was a doll. So we will all get up and go get our WIT vouchers and whatever appointment one had to go to, we'll go to this appointment, whatever that. You know, we was doing this thing together as young mothers. But there were things that my husband did not stand for, as opposed to the other guys wanted to cheat on her, or he wanted to talk to this girl's friend behind her back. So there are some underlying things that have happened. That have, a woman just ain't, she isn't just gonna grow up and be that way. A person isn't gonna just be that way. Some things have to transpire in a person's life that would be a definitive factor for how they feel about a situation. That's
instinctual. What's happening is, like you said, things are happening, and now it's like, I got to take care of myself. You ain't got my back. You supposed to be my man, but you know what? You doing this, you doing that. You know what? Now I got to take care of me. And now when any other nigga come along, I'm not trying to open up. because I got to protect me. So now it's like I don't need a man. What I need a man for? To cheat on me? What I need a man for?
A lot of it has to do with a man not having a father in the household where he can see that his father didn't show his mother love. So a lot of men who beat women or
watch his father beat his mother,
or watch his father beat his mother. That could be a reason too.
But here's the thing, and I can only speak for the black community as a black woman, and being raised around black women and black men. A lot has to do with the agenda on the black man stemming from slavery.
Yeah. That too.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I'm a black man too. And I noticed that a lot of times, and this is what I got out of you as well, is that the fact that you are rooted in the word. So a lot of men that are rooted in the word and honor, the creator and take on a lot of these different principles, you're gonna act different because you understand what you are operating under. And then you have men that don't know the word or that didn't have that principle foundation growing up, and the streets raised them.
And you're from where again?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Port Huron, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, Memphis, Tennessee.
So me coming from the South and knowing my history, especially from Atlanta to Covington, Georgia to Oxford and so on. When I started going into my history, and I can't tell you how many nights I stayed up crying because I couldn't understand, why my family was as disconnected as they were. So when I started doing the research on my family and went all the way to the person who purchased my family, a lot of our people did not show love to their children out of fear of them being sold away. Yeah, they knew they was going to be sold away. And if you are a descendant of slaves, any of us,
right,
your family somewhere ran away to wherever, whomever in the oldest person, they ran from the South. They ran from here. They left here at some point. But those of our family members that stayed in the South, was subject to a lot more trauma. So when I did my research and found that a lot of our people that felt like love was a luxury, you better be happy that you got a roof over your head. You better be happy you got something to eat, because they was afraid of their children being sold away. So they did not attach themselves to their kids. So that's a generational curse and a generational cycle in a whole lot of families, to where a lot of people did not show their family members love. So when you come to the black man, our black men have had a target on their back from day one.
We still do.
And you forgetting something else too.
We still do.
When the parents that did have their kids grow up with them, they taught the men to be submissive because they didn't want them to get killed. They didn't want you to be strong-minded and try to go against the slave owner. So they taught them. They taught them, and they taught the women. Listen, they taught the women. They taught their daughters to be strong, so that they could take the abuse, and taught the men to be soft, so they wouldn't get killed trying to buck up.
My great-granduncle told me, he said, he left from here and went to New York and went to Jamaica, Queens. And when he left here, he said that before he left here, he said that he was a caddy. And on the golf court, after all of the black caddies got through working that day for all of the white people, they would take all of the food that the white folks didn't eat, put it in one pot, and serve it to them on a shoebox top. On the shoebox top. So this is how they're treated now. So they are used to being treated this way. So how can you go home and look in your wife's eyes after you looked at another man? You couldn't look him in the eye. You had to look at him at the bottom of his shoe. You had to look at him at the top of his shoe. That's all you couldn't look in the white man's eyes. You couldn't do that. So how do you prove to your wife that you are a man and you can't stare another man in the face?
Beat on her.
Shut up. I can't relate to that because my dad always taught me look a man in the eye.
No.
It's not
us. She said back in the slavery time, in them days.
No, I'm just saying.
If you did, you was probably getting hung or something like that.
Hold on. My dad was born in 1943. His grandfather was born in the late 1800s. 1890 something, and he was raised by his great-grandfather. And his great-grandfather instood them same principles. We are not a product of our environment, even though we are in the environment. So each household or each upbringing is different.
It's different.
You can hold on to what the oppressor is doing to you, or you can do something about it. And there's a lot of black.
Talking about the South.
No, he's in the South. We're talking about Mississippi.
Yeah.
My dad was born in Mount Olive, Mississippi.
Like you said, though, everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
You was just
but how many households had the luxury, though, of telling their children not to become a product of their environment? You had some people, colorism played a factor in a lot of people's households.
They still do. They talk about me because I'm light-skinned.
No, but I'm saying you had a lot of people that, they didn't have the luxury of saying certain things or doing certain things.
That's
All
true.
you knew was to do is pray and survive.
That's true.
And love was a luxury that a lot of us couldn't afford. So when it came to me as a mom, I didn't want to repeat anything that was set in stone to hurt my people. And you would be surprised how a lot of our hurts, what they call PTSD, post-traumatic slave disorder, a lot of us are still suffering. That's just like, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a prime example. The young lady that watched, what's the man name that was killed by Eric Chauvin, the black guy, what's his name?
Hands Up.
No.
The one. Eric Holder? You talking about Nipsey Hussle?
Who? George Floyd.
Oh, George Floyd.
George Floyd.
Yes.
George Floyd.
Okay, the young lady that watched George Floyd die, this girl is going to be troubled for the rest of her life. She actually saw a man living and then unalive with somebody's knee on his neck. Think about how she played in her head, or those that was watching, what they could have done. Could we all have bum rushed them and pushed them off? Could we all have did this or that? What could we have done? So think about her children when she had babies, how she's going to parent that child. She's going to parent that child with post-traumatic stress disorder from watching this man die. You understand what I mean?
Well, I hope not.
But no.
Because I've seen people die plenty of times in my life.
You probably have seen them die, but have you seen them get lynched?
I didn't call that lynching, but
that was a modern day lynching.
I got a brother that was shot 19 times by the Clinton Township police officers. So I had to live with the fact that he was assassinated in his auntie's basement. But at the end of the day, I had to turn to somebody that's going to give me comfort. No, I didn't see that happen. Okay. But I've seen people die. Like I seen a girl get hit by a car right in front of me, go flying in the air until another car died. I'm not taking away
from that. But what I'm saying, you saw a black man on the ground with a white man's knee. Now you know the dynamics in this country. It is what it is. We didn't do this. This was done before.
You got to move on.
I'm not saying we're not. Yeah. But he didn't move on when he put his knee on that man's neck. He didn't think about that. No. He took us all the way back. So think about how many of our people seen people get lynched and have to go on the next day, how their loved ones got lynched. Not only that, they didn't remove them the same day they lynched them. That person was there day after day after day after day after day to give them a reminder of what can happen to them if they get out of line.
That's what I got reminded when Trump was in office. When everything that happened out there in South Carolina.
And rightfully
all
so.
All the people getting ran over.
And rightfully
Trump talking about some mighty fine people
so.
out
Even
there.
when they bombarded the Capitol.
What I got out of that.
So back to my book, I'm saying all this to say, when I wrote the book, I had to put cause and effects in there, and to put reasoning in there,
right?
And I had to bring this story together so that the justification can be put where it needs to be put, and blame can be put where blame needs to be put. But that did not stop my husband from being abused. And then it stopped me from going through the hell that I went through. Yeah. And then we blame our parents for a lot of things when we are children. But we don't realize that our parents are real people and they've gone through some things themselves. Right. And by the time they become your parent, doesn't mean that they just heal all of a sudden.
Perfect,
so we are being raised by abused people that was abused by somebody else. And they say a hurt person will hurt another person. Well, what the hell can a broken person do?
Break somebody.
Break you.
That's the great power of this book. Everybody, y'all need to get this book.
I also wanted to ask. You know, how old were y'all respectively when you?
You can't ask a woman her age.
I didn't ask her age. She said 8th grade. I just want to know how old was the age difference?
Oh.
Because the 7 years.
Okay.
That's not big at all. Because it's just like, you know, if you just dropped out of 8th grade, so what you was about how old?
14.
Oh, 97? Oh, so you graduated what, 99?
No, 95 she was saying.
I was supposed to graduate in 94, 95, somewhere.
From high school?
I don't know. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, from high school or junior high?
From high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but eventually I did go back to
98.
My husband put me through a Christian school, a Christian academy.
Oh, you know what? I want to ask you about the homeschooling. Because my girlfriend, her best friend, homeschools her daughters, and I thought that was amazing because she had some really good stuff to say about the homeschooling as far as
the best way to go.
Yeah, like she didn't want to get the shots, all them shots that they want you to get, because those things is no good for the kids. Have been proven that nothing is good that they shooting with.
Right.
And then the education, they changed the math.
Yeah.
So the new education, they got some screwed up math, and then somebody explained it to me like, math is the only subject that you have to know that you could become a billionaire. You don't even have to read and write. If you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 will turn into 4, and you just know math, 2 plus 2, like that. Because Ross Perot, he ran for president. He had a 3rd grade education. So it's proven that, look, you don't really have to read and write, but so they fucked the math up.
They screwed up a lot of things.
Yeah.
One thing I said, getting rich and uneducated was the worst thing they ever demonstrated.
That's
so how many people you know weren't educated and became multi-millionaires and billionaires? But I tell you like this, like I told our children, it's no disrespect to anybody, no disrespect to anybody's nationality. Your people bled in this country, they bled in the soil of this land. There is no way a person that can barely utter a sentence should be your boss. There is no way a person that has a language barrier should hire you and sign your checks. So we had to teach them about self-empowerment, credibility, understanding. Like today, y'all was talking about chickens. Our son, he's autistic, but he learned how to raise chickens, and now he sells his eggs. Our kids got outside, they planted a garden, and they're growing their own vegetables.
Nice.
So when it comes to the education part of it, some of it is in the books, but the majority of it is in the world.
Right.
And if you educate your kids according to the world, we let them look at CNN, we let them look at Fox. You know, my husband is a Muslim. So, and I grew up as a Christian. So we have a Muslim Christian household, and we let them choose what they wanted to be once they got 16 years old, and we respected their decision once they chose. So homeschooling is a wonderful thing. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can do what you want to do because everything is in school is structured to the test, the standardized test. What happens when somebody from another country come over here to the United States of America and you guys are up for the same position, but they get the position and you don't understand why? It's because they've been educated far more than you have, because they have less privileges than you have, and they wanted a better opportunity. So you better look at life like this right here. Thank God for the opportunities that you have. Thank God for the things that he has blessed you with, but you got to work your ass off. Like, you know, your life depends on it, because it does.
And it's crazy. I saw a lady on social media, and she was talking about she homeschooled her child. And she asked her a series of questions. She said, she talked to her daughter who's being homeschooled. She said, hey, what is LGBTQ? She said, I don't know. She said, what is the vaccine? I don't know. She said,
and that's what I was going to say a little while ago.
Basically, they didn't teach her nothing about that, so they don't know it, so they haven't been filtrated.
That's what I was going to say.
What is math?
So,
such and such. What is science? Such and such.
Exactly.
What is God?
My daughter, when she started school, she started pre-K during the pandemic, so she had to be homeschooled.
Yeah.
Right. Then she went into first grade, and it was still from home.
Yeah.
You know, partially or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they started having them come in school.
Yeah.
My daughter was a lot more sharp, alert. You know, she knew way more things when we was homeschooling. When she started going into school, the thing is this: the homeschool shit is dope because at the end of the day, you can teach whatever you want. Like she said, you still got to teach the same stuff they teach you because they still got it's still a curriculum.
Right.
But the thing is. For me, it's not what you're teaching them because my daughter gonna know a lot more than what school teach anyway.
Right.
The problem I had was them other kids.
Yeah.
Because now they helping to raise her. Mm-hmm. She comes home with new shit like you said. What's this? What's that?
Right.
She comes home with all this new stuff every day.
Yeah.
Oh, he did this to me. Like what's that? What's that? Like a gun.
Yeah.
He called me. What he call you? I don't want to say it. How you know it's a bad word? Because I remember said that in front of you.
Yeah.
So
you know what I'm saying?
So
and
it doesn't benefit. It doesn't benefit anybody. I'm gonna tell you something. Long story short, my husband and I, we were blessed to gift our son a BMW. And the first thing people started, his peers said to him, your parents did this. Mm-hmm. Your parents gave you this. So?
They should post it.
So
they should
what?
be able to.
So what? It's because their parents can't do it.
Let's get mad at me about stuff like that.
This is why I'm saying this. When it comes to us, it's okay to throw a gang signs. Mm-hmm. It's okay to have your finger pointed like a gun. It's okay for that. But let us teach generational wealth.
Right.
They don't like it.
Let us hand something down to our kids.
Right.
Our kids are told, y'all need to be somewhere flipping burgers. You need to be somewhere at a grocery store.
Yeah.
You ain't going to tell no Asian kids that.
Nope.
You ain't going to tell no Indian kids that. But when it comes to our kids, they are put in servants' role. Still. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll put in, if a person want to learn or teach their children ebonics or street knowledge, they head straight for the black community. But crazy. Let us talk about generational wealth. Yep. Let us talk about passing something down. Only us. We do that. I don't believe in a child turning 18 years old and you out of my house. No. Yeah. You leave when you're comfortable.
When you're ready.
And like my son told him, look, it's a difference with living with my parents and living off of my parents. Yeah.
There you go. Oh,
and that's the truth.
Right.
Yeah. Because they don't live. We have a family home.
Yeah.
And when they're ready to leave, they can.
Right.
If they don't want to leave, they don't have to.
Yeah.
Because that's our choice. This is how we run our household. And I feel like when it comes to our kids, we can't pass them down anything without them being teased about who gave you what or who did that for you. We're supposed to. Look at the nepotism rate in this country alone. Yeah. How Meghan McCain got on The View because her father was who? John McCain. Yeah. You got Trump kids. Mm-hmm. They running all Trump's business. Right. Mm-hmm. Even Biden's son is in some type of trouble because all of them are expected generational wealth. Right. Everybody else is expected is generational wealth, but our own. Except for us, and we got to change the mindset of that. I
agree. Because give it up for that, right?
These things that we're teaching, these kids are learning in the brick and mortar, it's not going to equal to anything because by the time a child can put together a paragraph, the first thing they're saying is that they're gonna die. Yeah. They're ready to lose their life, and that shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Hey,
we definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Everybody give it up again for PHOXX once again. Tell the viewers.
Talking about spitting some bars.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. She got a voice that sounds like I heard it before or something, right?
Oh, you want to spit some bars?
Yeah, for real. Like.
Do something on top of the dome. Do something on top of the dome.
Too many of these folks try to think for me. They try to tell me what my life's supposed to be faithfully. It's what I tried to be instead. They try to take what's best of me revengefully. Expect for a girl to snap instead. I grab a pen and write them in my raps of what has happened. Be into the world this way. Young girls is the hope each and every day. Young girls ground hard with the dishpan hands all cuffed and shackled for an unfaithful man. But what's the man when there's none to help? Wait on him, I better help myself. Oh, but they're thinking it's wise because reality lies in the humping that shoulder where little girls cry. But why? But in mom's arms was no room for me to take responsibilities for me, myself, her, and anybody else. But nobody came when we cried for help. Welfare is a joke just to get in your head. So who come to your house or who sleep in your bed instead? I go risk my life just to put some bread on the table tonight, to do what's right, just to have a normal life, because I'm the type that they shank at night and the arms are hump when there's tears to write for the hungry type, regardless of black or white. And when we need a hand and not a taste of steel from a cop to kill, tell me his quote is a thrill. You want to know how I feel? I think you better get real because of me. I ain't gonna sleep tonight with a belly of bubbles with no appetite, when my stomach is tight with no love in sight. But that's all right. I just start my fight and wish upon the stars with all my might that they'll open their eyes before I lose my life. But there won't be no surprise if they don't open their eyes and they're hoping their shoulder where little girls could cry. But why?
Hey. Give it up for that.
Yo, that was bars. Yeah.
We appreciate you coming through once again.
Multi-talented. PHOXX.
Yeah, the extraordinaire.
That was
PHOXX.
Yeah, the
everybody
book,
where they
I gotta read that book though.
Where they can get your book at.
The way she described it make
the diary.
Make me want to check it out, man, for real.
Yeah.
The Diary of a Trophy Wife. It is everywhere books are sold. You can Google PHOXX, PHOXX, and you can also find me at KREME511 on my social media.
Are you independent?
I am independent, yes.
Okay.
Yes. But this is volume 1, by the way. We have 3 more novels coming behind this.
Oh, wow.
Okay, dope.
So we can look out for the movie soon, huh?
I'm praying so. It's to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
We got a bidding war going. So to the highest bidder, whoever come with the highest amount and with the great opportunity for us to collect residuals on the back end. And my name can still be accredited to it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We are so blessed to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you. It's a blessing to be here.
Hey, we hope everybody go cop her book. You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing
book. Trophy Wife. Go get it.
Yeah, written by an amazing person. So
thank you.
We thank you for coming on the show. We give you much success. Yes, much success.
It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, we ran over a little bit. We appreciate everybody still tuning in. This is Up on Game. This is Allah. This is Rich Mo. This is Earn G. Check us out every Saturday. We moving to a new location soon.
Oh yeah. This is the last show here in this building.
To a new location.
So this is wrapping it up. I love this building.
This is the finale.
Had a lot of memories here.
Thank you for Ink Black Ink.
This is Up on Game, man. We see y'all next week. Do something nice for somebody that can't do it for you.
You are now tuned in to Black Ink Radio.